Hello, welcome back to More Fun Fixing It, and today I'm doing something a little bit different. It's not a lot different, but it's different enough that I can make a fuss about it at the beginning of this video to make you wonder what I'm talking about. So stick with me right to the end. So I've got three ZX Spectrums here, and they're not my usual 48K rubber key wonders. These are the latter day ones, the first of the Amstrads and the last of the Amstrads in Spectrum format. This Grey Plus 2 apparently works, but I'm going to test all of these machines with Diagnostics just to make sure everything's okay. This one works, it just has tape issues, so that's all I've got to do with that one. And these two both work, but they have bad drives, which is incredibly common for Plus 3 ZX Spectrums with these 3-inch disk drives. The belts inside them will have just turned to tar, basically. So we're going to fix both of these, I hope. I don't have a huge hit rate with these. Sometimes, and it could be the test discs that I have. I'm not sure I've got the best games to test with, so we'll try. We'll see how it goes. Let's get this one off the bench and start with this one. I've already taken the screws out of the side of this before I started. They're here, but I haven't actually opened the computer. But let's switch it on and see what happens first. I've got my Diagnostics card here, and I've got my converted power supply, which has 12 volts input, and it's got a Pico ATX glued into the bottom of the case. And it goes up to my bench power supply, so I can see the current draw on my bench power supply. It's a really handy diagnostic tool. Let's plug in the power, plug in video, and see what we get. Okay, so it says not great picture. I heard the disk drive buzz and whir then. That's just the spindle turning with a piece of rubber flapping on it. It says not great picture, but there's nothing I can see that's wrong with that picture. That looks absolutely fine to me. Let's get the Diagnostics involved, and that's going to be a better test than me farting around in BASIC. Now, I don't know if I've got the sound for this coming through the capture device, so but I can see that on the VU meter on capture that it is actually working. It's doing the beep, beep, beep thing. So it's picked up that it's a Plus 3 Spectrum and it's testing the RAM. So this will take a minute. I'll skip through this bit. I can only do that for so long. I'm not getting any younger. There we go. Yep, passed. Oh, it's doing some interrupts as well. I'll just let it finish that. Okay, that's worked fine. I'm just going to hit the NMI button just so I can test some of these keys. This Diagnostics keyboard tester doesn't recognize the extra keys, so it's not the best test, but it just shows me that it is actually working. I'll do a proper test later. Okay, let's open it up and see if we can get into this disk drive and remove all the gunk. A huge shout out to PCBWay for sponsoring the channel. One resource I don't talk about enough is the PCBWay community and their shared projects page. Before you spend hours designing a mod or a fix from scratch, check there first. There are thousands of open source designs uploaded by other fixers. For example, if you're working on a Commodore 64 with a broken SID chip, you can find the SIDKit Pico right there, ready to order. Or if you're battling with an early Sinclair machine, you can grab the Happy Little Diode ZX Spectrum Issue 2 UV mod. It's the perfect fix for those stubborn video tuning issues, and you don't even have to design it yourself. Chances are someone has already solved the problem you're facing. You can order these projects directly from the page with just one click. It saves massive amounts of time, and you get to do the fun part of the repair faster. Check out the link below to see what the community has built. Thanks to PCBWay. Cheers. So what's happening here is that I'm kind of running out of machines from Paul's batch of machines that he sends over for repair. I'm kind of running out of machines to repair, so I'm just tidying up loose ends. I've got a lot of stuff still to repair, but I need to get these finished so that I can take them back to him, which means fixing them all up. Right, so here's the disk drive, and we need to remove this from the case. So there's a couple of screws on this side, and that should let us in. Let's get rid of the power lead, and then pry off the floppy cable. Okay. Oh, this is a different one. Oh, I don't know if the belt I've got is going to fit this. So there's two different ones. One of them, you can't access any of the belt mechanism at all, but this one is not that one. So I've got these belts, and I don't know if they're the same size. We'll find out. I think this is a later version of the thing. I've got my new sheet of pink tack. Yeah. Another great use for blue or pink tack. All right, so what do I need to do to get to this one? This one's slightly different. I'm not used to this one at all. So I'm going to take that plug out of there. Like that. And this one out of here. On the other ones, it just pops out of this bit here. But this one's got some wires going down here. Whee! Oh, the pins come out. So you mustn't forget the right protect pin. Will fall out. Gives me a little bit more room. So the spindle's all the way up there. Oh, there we go. I can get to it there. Ugh. Ew, it's all sticky. So the problem with this stuff is when it rests against brass, it becomes corrosive. It corrodes the brass and sticks to it. The only thing you can do is scrape it off and then polish the brass. I might take the motor out. It's horrible, horrible stuff. Right, I'm going to do my little trick of... now this one's got 3 wires. That's concerning. Okay, so I'm not going to do my trick on this one because it's got 3 wires, and that plus and minus on the edge here doesn't really line up with... It kind of sits in between these 3 points. And then we've got orange, red and brown. I would have said red and brown, maybe this is minus and this is plus. But what does orange do? So I'm not going to... I was going to put some voltage into this and make this spin and then just hold a cotton bud or something abrasive against there to clean it up. But I have got other options. First thing I'm going to do is clean it with some isopropyl alcohol and a magic eraser. Or a nano sponge in this case. She's actually doing a pretty good job. A couple of stubborn bits here that I can just get off with my tweezers. Okay, that's really come up nice and clean. There's a bit of staining on the inside of the spindle there, but I think that's just superficial. I'm happy to put that back in as it is. Right, so the next task is to peel it off of this. It shouldn't have stuck to this plastic roller as much as it did to the other one, but it can just still be difficult to get off. It won't have corroded in like the other one. Oh, I don't want that on there. Ah. Yep, it's just not coming off. Okay, I can get to the side of it here and just slide my tweezers down underneath it. Oh, it's really stuck on there. That is basically turned to goo. I'll find something else a bit flatter. Time for the cotton buds. Yeah, there's hardly anything wrong with that. Right, I think that's as much as I can get off of there. Yeah, it's going around clean now. Okay, let's see if I'm going to do all that and this belt's not going to fit. Yeah, this belt's not going to fit. I don't think. I don't know. Oh, I don't know. Oh, the belt fits. It's a tad loose. I don't think that's going to work, but we'll put it back together and see if it does. If it doesn't, I'll have to find a source for these belts as well. What are these ones? These are the ones for the other type, and they are 3mm wide. Doesn't actually show the length or the diameter or whatever on there. But yeah, we'll put this back together and see what happens. Not forgetting to put in the right protect pin, which goes in there. That little bit in there. Slot the LED back in, put that back over. Back over there. Hang on, there was a trickier one, wasn't there? Two screws, and then we can test it. I don't think this is going to work. I think this is a bust. More belt. I'm going to put it completely back together. Mostly because there's nothing else I can do. Even if it doesn't work, I can't... there's no other options here. I haven't got any of these belts that I'll need. And if I leave it in pieces, I'll lose all the screws. So might as well put it back together. Okay, what does it do when I switch it on? Okay, that's spinning like it should. It's not making a horrible noise. All right, so some of these will work. Dr. Doom's Revenge. Let's try Chartbusters from Ocean. And I think I just hit enter. Oh, that's... yeah, it's working. Yes! Cobra. Is it? Oh, I found dark. Yeah, okay, it's working. Brilliant. Okay, success on the first one. All right, just put all the screws back in this, label it up, and send it on its way. All right, this one's all finished up. This one's a really nice one. Like, the label on this is in really good condition. It's got a couple of little scuffs on it, but they tend to get really marked up because they are easily scratched. And this bit tends to get used as a table to throw your floppy disks onto. So it ends up getting scuffed up. But the keyboard's in really lovely condition, and the case is in really nice condition as well. There's a little bit of touching up needed on the red and the silver, but yeah, really nice machine. Done. Let's try this one. So this one also works, but has a bad drive as well. Oh, that power socket is a bit sloppy. Eee. That sounds horrible. Okay, that boots up fine. Let's make sure it works. That it passes its diagnostics as well. Oh, what's going on there? Let's give that a squirt of contact cleaner. Can always clean the edge connector once I'm inside. Try again. That's not happy. Okay, let's get in there. I'm just going to get rid of this first. Totally different screws in the side of this one. And rusty screws in the bottom. These are not the original screws. They're definitely not the original screws. This one might be. Yeah, that looks original. This one's really dodgy. I think there's a bigger screw been put into a post that's stripped out there. So I'm going to have to put some pressure on this like that and then unscrew it. There we go. Look at that compared to the other ones. Not the right screw. I can sort that though. Could be the edge connector. Bottom is usually okay, so I'm just going to give the top side a quick brush over with a fiberglass pen. Yeah, they were pretty scabby. Make any difference? Yay, that's better. Looks like there's some water ingress in here, or cobwebs maybe. Something horrible's got in there. It's quite rusty inside. The modulator can is very rusty. There's a spring on the side of the floppy disk here that is really rusty. The inside, the mechanism looks okay. I think it's just basically condensation if it's been in a damp place for a long time. It's a shed find, I'm sure. Probably still work just fine. It's always worth giving these a tap actually while it's running, just to see if you can make it crash. If it crashes when you tap the ULA, then there's a pin loose on it. Right, that's worked fine. Oh, same floppy drive. Oh, at least we know what we're doing this time. Is this... No, it's not going to peel off. All right, same deal. Making the right sort of sounds. Yep. I'm going to stick with Cobra because I know it works. Okay, it works. I don't know what the keys are. This one's had a few knocks and spills and thrills on the label here. The rest of it looks okay though. Yeah, another good one. Let's label this one up as well. Fixed. That just leaves this +2, and I need a different set of cables for this. And I can get rid of the +3 power supply. That's no longer needed. Right, back down to 9 volts for this one. This doesn't look like this is working to me. Get anything on Diagnostics. Well, at least Diagnostics is running. It's picked up that it's a +2 grey, so the ROM's okay. Let's see what it does with the RAM. I suspect there might be a RAM fault. Okay, there's nothing wrong with this. Why was that not booting then? And now it is. And maybe it was the reset button had been held in, or reset button is working. So if I turn it on with the reset button held in, yeah, it could be that. Possibly. Let's have a look inside. Just to get a lay of the land. This is in good condition, this one. Bit grotty inside here. Issue 1, the first Amstrad machine. The first Amstrad Sinclair machine. Everything looks okay. I can't see any leaky caps or anything like that. Anyway, let's turn our attention to this. That belt looks really good. I can't see anything wrong with that belt. So I think it's going to be... Oh, tape issues. This might be the tape issues. The eject button doesn't work. Oh. What's happened to the spring? It snapped. Was that the spring? I don't remember that being like that. I thought it was just a piece of metal. I'm going to have to get another one and check it to see what the difference is. But yeah, okay. Well, it's actually quite late here, so I'm going to put this down for now, switch everything off, and come back to this tomorrow with less tired eyes. I'll see you tomorrow. Morning. Had a lovely night's sleep. First one in ages. Right, so the first thing I did when I walked in the workshop this morning is grabbed another issue 2, ZX Spectrum +2 grey. This one has a broken eject button, but inside here, and we look, if I zoom you down here, this is the eject mechanism. Probably a bit too zoomed. Let's go there. All right, so that is the actual eject button push bit. This is the spring, so it's just a coiled bit of wire. There is a spring there, but it comes out with a piece of wire that presses against this piece of plastic here and holds against that back of the case there, and just basically pushes the case open when this is activated. So what's in this one is quite interesting, because they've actually fixed this with a spring. I don't know how they've attached this to the back of the case, but that is attached firmly to the back of the case. And it wasn't on there, it was just flapping around. But when I've put it here on the end of that piece of plastic, it actually works. And if we go back over here and I do it this way, you can see that the spring is doing its thing. But I am going to replace it. I'm going to take the spring out of this one and put it in here, because that will just flick off of there eventually. But that is actually a really nice homebrew solution to the problem. I really like that. I'm tempted. If this was mine, I would definitely leave that there, but I don't think it will be very reliable. It would, well, it has already once popped off of here, so I think the chances are that it would do it again. Although I'm struggling to get that off there now. Before I get too deep into that, I need to take this tape deck out of here and give it a service. Right, all of those are the same size so far. Just a couple over here on the motor. All right, these don't generally come out of here until you actually eject them, which you can do by pressing that and making sure that the spring is doing its job, but it's not at the moment. Anyway, that's come open. That should just now lift out. And then I've just got to remove this LED board. Right, quick inspection on the top side of this one-sided PCB here. Just looking for leaky caps and any other problems, anything burnt. All looks good. The pinch roller actually looks in really good condition. This is in really good condition, this one, and I'm reluctant to change that belt. I'll put a new one on it if I have, I've got exactly the right size. So I think that, well, I'm just going to have to look for things like broken or cracked solder joints and stuff like that for now, just to make sure that everything is as it should be. I'm just going to get my goggles out to do that. There's potentially a one cracked solder joint down here on this end of this resistor, but I don't think that's causing any trouble. I am just going to touch it up to make sure it's okay. This pad here, well, so underneath this screw here is a blank bare PCB. That's not copper. There's no reason for this to have connectivity going through it. On some of the other models, like this one, the PCB is exposed here. These are ground points. Now this ground is in an island, and this is a single-sided PCB. So the only way to get from the ground from there to there is through the chassis of the tape deck itself, by having these screws in here. But these screws end up coming loose, and the connections underneath them end up a little bit oxidized quite often, because this is a moving part with a lot of, corrosion and stuff happening over the years. And these connections end up breaking down, and you end up with a poor connection, or an important connection becoming poor, where part of the PCB no longer gets earth. And what you end up having to do is scratching a little bit off here and a little bit here, and connecting these with a wire, just to make sure. There are other fixes as well for these. If you want some of those other fixes, then have a look on the Retro Hardware Discord, where Peter Mulholland has, I've pinned a few of his guides. There's quite a few different revisions of this PCB, but he's put lots of fixes up for the noise and things that you get on these to improve them. And I've pinned those in, I'm pretty sure, in the Sinclair channel, so have a look in there. So this one is one that I would normally do something about, this connection at least. But this one has no connection under here. So this has no ground plane around this part, no ground connection here. The ground is connected to this one, to the chassis. That part there is actually copper under here. And it looks the same as that, but it's not. I'll do this one up and undo the other one. You can see where the star washer has cut into the copper, but it does, copper just will oxidize over time, bare copper like that. So I'm just going to give that a clean, and then make sure this is really nicely tightened down. And another place that corrosion and oxidization can creep in is this leaf switch here. So when when play is activated, when I press the play button on the front, that leaf switch right here is closing just through that mechanical pressure being pushed across there. But these contacts can become oxidized over time, so I like to just slot a little piece of wet and dry, very, very, very fine grit wet and dry with some contact cleaner on it in between those contacts, close them up, and then just run it backwards and forwards a little bit like that. That should do it. I'm going to have a look for a belt for this. It looks new. Feels nice and rubbery. The CPC sell these belts. Oh, these are for C2N, so they're for the Commodore drives. I've got 107s, and that's a 107, 107, although that's empty. 107, these might be the right ones, but there are 114s as well. So I'm not sure which one it is. I don't think it's this one. That looks too small to me, so I reckon it's a 107. So belt 107 on CPC on the ones you're looking for. Oh, you can also buy them from Retro Computer Shack. So this is a plus 2A and plus 2B, the black model. Oh, that's good. That's been melted into the plastic of the packet. You know when you get a packet of crisps? Didn't realise I still had that on. You know, you get a packet of crisps and like a multi-pack of crisps, and sometimes one of the packs has been welded to the bottom of the pack. That's what's happened here. Oh, it's not damaged it. Yeah, that's exactly the same. So I'm going to put that one on. Yeah, that feels good. Actually, that spindle's a bit grubby. Okay. Just in case, I'm going to clean the other one as well. Yeah, that was very dirty. Glad I spotted that. That was really grubby. That one's okay. I'm not going to touch that one. The other places, there's no tyre on these ones. This is all cogs on this mechanism, so I don't need to worry about that. But the other place is this pinch roller down here, and the heads as well. We'll clean the heads first. Let's do that. Just a cotton bud and some isopropyl alcohol. And I'm just going to hoover up some of this grottiness that's around here with this bud. Because this pinch roller is actually in really good condition. If it was really, really covered in tape goo, I would use isopropyl alcohol on it. But I'm not going to, because it's in good condition. It doesn't need it. It feels really clean. So I'm just going to give it a clean with some window cleaner and a nano sponge. And now a dry nano sponge. And these being slightly abrasive are a really good way of just breaking up that surface a little bit. If there is anything, you know, any contamination on there. And because that was a little bit damp, I'm just going to use some fast air. Just to dry that out. Right, I think that's all I'm going to need to do to this one. Oh yeah, I still need to touch up that joint on the back. Right, let's put it back in and see if it works. Actually, this had been put in there to stop the this extra spring rubbing against the motor mount. That was really in there. There we go. New spring installed. Lovely. Okay, that's the LED back in, so I can just drop this back into place. And the eject works fine now. Make sure I haven't tangled anything up. Perfect. Does this work? Excellent. And the eject works lovely now. Okay, I found Whizball from Ocean. This is an early Sensible software. Yeah. 1987, Ocean Software Limited, produced by DC Ward, designed by Sensible Software, graphics by Mark R. Jones. I know this one works. And tape loader, press play. A little bit noisy on the mechanism, but we'll see if it works. Oh, okay. For some reason it didn't see the other side. So this one's a good test. You can see the colours have all changed, and I don't know if you can hear it, but it sounds very different. Hey, this is basically a fast loader. If this can load this, then it's a good tape deck. Right, I will skip to the end, and then you can just see the results. Hopefully, then we can just move on to the next thing, or the end of the video. Yay! I don't know how this game works at all. Yeah, but it works. Successful load. Brilliant. So that's this one done. I don't need to do any more to this. I think, yeah, I'll just button this one up, put it in the pile with the others, and move on to the next things. But that's the end of this video. I've got more things to do, so I'll probably do like a series of videos where I'm catching up with all of the stuff, just so I can share it with everybody. And still get some videos out for you to watch. I know not everybody's going to be that interested in watching tape deck repairs and servicing floppy drives, but it's part of the job. If you want one of these old machines for yourself, that's the sort of thing that you're going to be faced with almost straight away. There we go. Service, new belt, and an eject spring. Done. We'll put it in the pile. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.